towards Agar. Ravel, vicious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast, and it's another weekend without Rotherham United. Getting bored of these now. With Rotherham United nonsense not put out the retain list, so we have less to talk about. So thanks, everybody, for that one. But there's still plenty to cover, and we are going to go back to the start of the season and look at how we all did in our pre-season predictions. We are pretty stupid in about half an hour's time, I'm sure. So we've gone back to the line from the pre-season episode. Mick is with us. Hello, Michael.
Hello.
Benjamin's with us. Ben, what have you just finished eating? Just for everybody, all them fans out there.
Rice pudding.
Rice pudding. Is it a homemade rice pudding or is it
obviously no homemade?
Cool. Wonderful. It's good this week. You haven't got your bow tie on, so you ain't got to worry about indigestion or anything like this.
No.
Danny back with us. Thank you for joining us. Danny, how are you doing?
Hello, everybody. I'm doing all right.
Wonderful. And Lewis Alden's back with us. Thank you for joining us, Lewis.
Hi, chaps. Pleased to be back on again.
It's good stuff in here. We've got Philip Hawes, who is with us. He's a cat called Chio. I'm a big fan of that type of thing. Essex Formula is with us. AJK is with us. Neil Liversidge. Luca Wildgoose says, hopefully starts off better than the last podcast. I think it has. Again, the bar was low, but I think we nailed it. Paul Brock's with us, YouTube user, and Neil Taylor is with us. Like I said, we haven't got a great deal to cover tonight, to be honest with you, but we'll cover what we can. So we start with a little bit of transfer rumour, Danny. You're the one we come to because I'm not interested in this type of thing. The rumour coming out of today that's come from, I think it's Alan Nixon from Sun, is that Ben Wiles, here we go, Cheryl, thank you for timing that. Is the rumour about Ben from a credible source or just another rumour? So I'll answer the first part is that he is generally a pretty good source. But as with all people who put rumours out there, it may be 2 out of 10 that hit the mark, Danny, and that's just how transfer rumours work, isn't it, really? Yeah,
and if anything like me, the Sun's a bit... but in terms of the bloke himself, Alan Nixon, he is generally a credible source and does get at least 5 out of his 10 right. So he's better than most, shall we say. And I think the Ben Wiles rumour to Huddersfield is them just putting names onto a list. Like they've probably got 2 lists, one for Premier League, one for Championship. And he's probably on their Championship list if they stay down this season, but they probably won't go for him if they go Premier League because they'll have a lot more money to throw at it. But yeah, the Wiles one does have a little bit of weight to it, but on the flip side of that, there is also a little bit of weight to us being interested in Tom Barkhausen, which proves that Alan Nixon watches this podcast because we said it first.
Yeah, that's what we should say. If any journalist, budding journalist, is watching this thinking, oh, these boys will be in the know in terms of transfers, we have absolutely no idea. We're not a clue. We have no contacts from the club. We have no sources. Do not take any transfer rumours from us directly because we have not got a clue. Danny might have sometimes, to be fair. But
I can't believe you did that, man. I cannot believe you did that. We could have had so much fun with that. If we could have confirmed that somebody was looking at this podcast with a view to getting some sort of tip, we could have had hours of, I could have had hours of fun. Anyway.
We've got a complaint here for you anyway. Chris Sanderson says he's happy to share. He listened to the New York Talk doing his Rotherham 10K today. That is brilliant, Chris. Thank you. However, Mick's lack of enthusiasm on rumoured signings on the last podcast didn't help me tackle up the hill finish. So, Mick, would you like to share some enthusiasm about any transfer talk?
Well, there isn't any, is there, at the moment? There isn't any. Realistically,
go on.
There's the only realistic rumour with any form of credibility is the Ben Wiles one, isn't it? Because as Danny's just said there, the source is as reliable as you could possibly be in these sets of circumstances, which is pretty unreliable. But yeah, I mean, it'd be a good move for Ben Wiles, particularly if they get promoted. If they don't get promoted, it'd be a crap move for him, quite frankly. It'd just be a sideways move. So we'll have to wait and see. But they're going to have to dig their hands deep to get Ben Wiles, I would argue, very deep.
So Lewis,
sorry, I would go so far as to say that if they don't get promoted, they're not going to be able to afford him.
Okay. Lewis, if you had to put a random valuation, that's all we can really put on people like that now is a random valuation. What would you say is, what's Ben Wiles' valuation in current money?
No, it's a tough one. I don't know when does his contract expire.
We've got another year, at least another year, which we could have an extension. Knowing us, it might have another, like year on it, if you know what I mean. We can extend. I don't know. At least a year.
Well, they got. If we just talking stats, he was involved in 17 goals last year in League One.
So,
and he's 23, is it? 22?
23 now, yeah.
23. Yeah. So you got to be looking about 5 million, aren't you? Off the top of my head.
Yeah.
To even think about it. And have they got that kind of money? I'm not too sure, especially if they don't go up. And like we said earlier, if they do go up, I can't see him targeting Ben Wiles to be someone with more experience, maybe. But the big old move potentially for him. Well-run club and all that, but it's not going to happen, is it?
No. Shell Stones has also been watched by Forest. He's linked with Luton quite a few times, but again, can you see Luton paying 4 or 5 million? They may have the money, but Luton, again, are a well-run club. I can't see them splashing that kind of cash on a single player.
I think their whole team's worth like 1.2 million or something.
Exactly.
So it's not going to spend 5 on one player, are they?
And with Forest as well, I mean, we could be finishing in a similar position to Forest did a couple of years ago. So would Wiles really want to just move to Nottingham Forest? I know they're in the playoffs and such, but if he moves to a Championship club, it could be just a sideways step for him, because I think Wiles really does want a decent crack at the Championship in his more natural position, because last time out he were moved from pillar to post to fill the jobs, which he did very well in. But this season I can see him going, I want to play in that position and I want to see how I am in the Championship with it. And if he says that's a Paul Warne, then there's no reason to sell, is there? And from the noises that the club are making on the social channels, it does look like we're trying to keep hold as much as this squad as we can, because we know they're okay enough just with a couple of additions here and there.
Yeah. Ben, thoughts on Wilesley? If he went, let's go worst case scenario. How big a loss for us is it?
It is a big loss, because obviously he's our. I wouldn't say he's our future, but he's a big part of our team and would be. Except apart from that, well, that's annoying. But yeah, I think he's a big part of the team. But I mean, look at the midfield players that we've brought in. I think we would be able to replace him straight away. Probably a big ask. But I think obviously it would be a big part. It's Ben Wiles, he plays nearly every game. I don't know how many games he's played this season, but he's a very, very good player. So, but if he goes, he goes. For me, if he's getting a much bigger wage, and they're going to be in contention for playoffs next season, it wouldn't be a stupid move, because it's only half an hour down the road, so you don't have to move house, you don't have to do all that kind of stuff. And he's picking up a bigger wage and potentially playing in a better team, but it's not a better club, is it?
Okay, fair enough. Joseph Robinson, thoughts on the Wiles deal, Mick, if it includes Reg? That takes cash off. That's the problem.
Not much, though, does it?
Depends how much you value Reg at, really, doesn't it? I mean,
I could see that. I could see that there might be a deal to be done there, but there'd have to be some more money coming our way. And I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at the moment. We don't know how this transfer market's going to pan out, do we?
No.
And clearly that's not going to start taking shape until the playoffs are sorted. So who knows? Clubs know where they're playing. There's obviously one or two deals to be done in terms of club ownership as well. So, until all that kind of gets sorted, I don't think it's going to start to take off. It's just that time of year when people like to spread rumours and speculation because the football's kind of dying out now, isn't it? You know what I mean? For me, a straight swap is a no-no. Because much as I like Reg, I think Ben Wiles is as good a player, and we're comparing apples and oranges, aren't we? You know what I mean? Because they're obviously completely different, but in terms of ability and class, I think Ben Wiles probably shades it for me. I know it might be controversial, I don't know, and I am biased, obviously, because he's a Rotherham lad, but I'd have them both. I'd prefer to keep them both, thanks.
Yeah. John Morello, Birmingham fan. The finance of the Championship, you ain't getting 4 or 5 million for him. Only clubs with any money real to spend is the parachute teams.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't disagree with that, but at the same time, that's fine. Then he's going nowhere.
Well, yeah. Far better for us, isn't it? That put that price tag on him. Nobody wants him. Happy days. See you later.
Yeah. And Jan Beaver says Tony and Warney won't sell unless it's big money. Wilesy may want to go for the wages, but the club won't want to sell. Yeah, I think that's where we are, realistically. John Oxtoby wants to give a shout out to the club. He says, I want to give a big shout out to the club and what a fantastic evening they put on Thursday for his son signing his contract within the Nines next season. They also let the foundation group play on the pitch Tuesday. All parents, including some Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday fans, commented how good the stadium is and how family orientated the club is up to the Millers. Yeah, it's just another sign of how well run the club is from top to bottom, innit? Like him very much. We have another question from Johnny Adani. Evening, guys. Thoughts on the Barkhausen guy from Preston? Still, we talked about in the last episode. Do you think that's just? I don't know. Do you think do we pay any attention to those type of rumours yet, or is it too early still?
I think they're the sort of rumours where it's nice to talk about them, but we have to remember that as a whole, the season isn't finished yet, and contracts and stuff don't actually run out until the 30th of June. So anything that would happen, it'd just be verbal and maybe shaking their hands. But then even when you've done that, things still can change. Someone can come in and just go, actually, no, we want to offer you this much, and they'll go to them instead. I believe that's what happened with Izzy Brown last summer. We'd shook hands and said, yeah, you can come to us last summer, but Preston swept in and took him away from us. No, yeah, exactly. But with Barkhausen, I think is a player that would do very well under Paul Warne. It would suit his managerial ethos, if we can use the big words for it. And it could be a very good addition to our side. It's just the thing of, would he want to swap mid-table Preston for a roundabout relegation scrap Rotherham? On paper, that's what you're looking at. I mean, we could finish mid-table next season. We don't know yet. That's for another episode where we do predictions and we get to laugh at our predictions earlier this season. But anyway, that'll come in later. But with Barkhausen, it's sort of come about so quickly that it's not even on my transfer world at the minute. I've not had a chance to put notes down about it because we mentioned it as we could fancy him. And then suddenly it's an official, in quote marks, rumour on Twitter. Yeah, for me, it's just wait and see what happens because we won't hear anything until July as a minimum.
Yeah, I think it's possibly right. But then Matt Sunday, I can't remember if we've talked about Matt Sunday being released, being put on the transfer list by Preston. I know you were one of his biggest fans while I was at the club, but he's had a year there and done basically nothing.
I wouldn't have him back.
You wouldn't have him back?
No, because where would you play him? You would play him over Chio?
For me, based on how we finished the season, it'd be him and Wes Harden as right wing back. It's just interchange. Well, Chio's going to play central in theory, isn't he? Because that's where he did play.
I suppose. It depends on his attitude. He kind of left the club in a not really bad way, but he kind of left it in a bit of a disrespectful way, in my opinion. From what I know, from what we saw, from what we know, but not from what's looking on the outside. Obviously, I'm sure a lot more went on behind the scenes, but looking at the way he left from the outside, no, I wouldn't have him back. Even though I still think he's one of the best defenders I've ever seen.
ever seen.
In for Rotherham, in my opinion.
I love it. I love you, man. Will Roebuck
I can hear the angry typing of keyboards already.
Love it. Love it. Will Roebuck says, "Hi, I'm late. Have you seen or spoken the news from Cole Stockton turning down a new deal? Hopefully, all good signs." Will, I suspect for me this relies on Smith. If Smithy stays, I don't think we'll be seeing Cole Stockton coming anywhere near this club. We don't need another striker, but if we do need to strengthen the area, then it sort of makes sense. Sorry, out to Lewis. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Lewis.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's like he's unproven in Championship level, and like he says, it would be a light for light swap for Smithy should he decide to go. I can't see us bringing with us having Kelly as well. I can't see that happening unless Smithy goes.
Yeah, I agree. Mick, as we mentioned, the retained list has not been announced. We assumed it was going to be announced Friday. It hasn't. Obviously, nothing gets announced on a weekend. Is it anything? I would say no. I would normally ask in this situation, or is it a reasonable concern because X, Y, Z is not agreeing? But most of these players have got automatic renewals anyway, so there is no need to worry. It's just you could see situations where we're trying to offer longer deals than just the 1 year automatic extension because we're higher in the league, maybe getting better deals, worse deals. Do you see it as well, or do you think there's maybe something else?
Yeah. I mean, is there any rush really? I don't know if there's any sort of set timescale that you've got to do this in. You know, we've got players who I would probably argue, with the exception of one, who would all be happy to stay if the terms were right. I can't think of another one who would want to leave, particularly other than Freddie, if they were offered the right terms. So the club are doing the right thing, in my view. Let's get offers in there for the people that we want, and once we've bottomed that, then we can decide to tell everybody else who we're retaining and who we're not. You know, it's a bit of a, I don't know. It's a bit of a pointless exercise, really. It's just more of a, I don't even know what it's for, to be honest. Well, why do they do it? You know,
What, the retain list?
Yeah, I mean,
So players can find new clubs.
I accept that, yeah, but that can be done without it having to be publicly announced, can't it? And it will be being done without it being publicly announced. I'm sure there's a lot of work going off behind the scenes to offer improved deals to the players that they want to keep. I'm sure of that. And until they've got that dealt with, then I don't think they're going to be in a position to release a retained list, are they?
No. I suppose the thing is, if you're offering somebody a new contract rather than just an automatic extension, you can't really announce that, if that will make sense, Danny, because you haven't done anything. All you're saying is you're offering a new contract, but we are going to keep them anyway because they've got an extension. It's a matter of waiting game.
Yeah, the rumour that I've heard is that the cut off for at least submitting it to the AFL for your retained list is the 21st of May. So that's in terms of submitting it, quietly to the actual people who handle it, but you don't have to announce it until you're ready, effectively. Because you've seen a lot of clubs who have gone out early and gone, such and such offered a new deal, but then he's turned it down. I think that's the case with Panshuti Kamara. They offered him a new deal in the retained list, and then he turned it down. So maybe we're wanting to avoid that. Maybe we're still trying to cross the T's and dot the I's with a few of them, and that's why we haven't released it, because they're still ongoing. I think the quietness does speak louder than people think it does, because a lot of clubs have been very quick to announce it. Plymouth were very quick to announce theirs. Preston were very quick to announce theirs and their complete clear out that they've had. Peterborough were very quick. And then we've sort of, I think Wigan are sorting theirs out fairly quickly as well. But then we've just not really had much. The only really sprinkling of proper deal completed rumours that we've had is A, offering Will Grigg a deal, which has come out in the Advertiser, and B, Richard Wood officially signing on. But that's been going on since February. That's been quite the rumbling on since February. So I think it hopefully it will come out before May 21st. I do sincerely hope it's submitted before the 21st, because otherwise we get fined for it, which would be a good start. But there's no rush for me. The more quiet we are with it, the better, I think, because it to me it means there's stuff going on behind the scenes, but we're not publicly announcing it because we want to keep it in-house, which is how we do things. We keep it in-house as much as we can and then go, surprise, George Kelly signed on a 800-year contract or whatever, or Victor Johansson signed for his lifetime of his career. But yeah, I think there'll be certainly a lot of clauses in contracts now, so we don't have to bump up the wages too much. One of the main ones could be a survival clause. If we survive in the Championship this next season, you get a bonus, you get a goal scoring bonus and such. And I think the main big one that we're all wanting to hear about more than anything is the Smith deal, and see what comes about from that. Because I think as soon as we find out what's happening with Smith, everything will then start into motion again. Because then you can go for Cole Stockton or whoever, and then build your team around a new front line without Smith in it. But if Smith does signs, then I think the focus will be adding an attacker to replace Freddie, strengthening defence a little bit, and then just on the lookout for anyone who could improve the squads, because that's what Paul once said he wants to do. But for me, quietness is bliss.
Yes, I agree with that, to be fair. Right, as we've done in the previous episodes. I styled that out quite nicely and you ruined it.
Yeah. Really nice.
We have heard from fans on the show, so we're going to do that again. Earlier today, me, Danny and Mick spoke with Dave, who is a native Australian but a Rotherham fan. So you're going to have a quick 10-minute chat from him, and then after that has finished, when we're back, we will then go through our pre-season predictions and how they went. So you'll see me in a few seconds. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm very, very good. Thank you very much. So fill everybody in. Dave emailed us a few weeks ago about the show, and I thought the story was very interesting. We often get people from Rotherham moving down to Australia or New Zealand or far away from here. And carrying the Rotherham torch. But Dave, your story is very different to that. You're born and bred Australia, but still a Rotherham fan.
Yeah, that's right.
I will tell us your story about, where does your passion for Rotherham come?
Well, it's just pretty simple. Mum's from Rotherham, so she moved out here in the 70s to finish her nursing. Met an Australian guy from Melbourne, and they got married in Canberra and have lived here ever since. And so when I was growing up, followed my dad's AFL team and followed the football team from my mum's hometown. And that's pretty much how it started.
I like it. Mm-hmm. Are you a football fan in general, or is it just Rotherham United that you sort of picked up on and followed with?
So I'm a sports tragic, so just about every sport under the sun. Dad's from Melbourne, which is the home of Australian rules football. And so probably if you'd have pressed me, that's growing up, so I played it and followed it my whole life. But yeah, certainly Rotherham is my almost equal favourite team now, which is a bit strange considering I've grown all my life, probably caring far too much about sporting results sort of here, and now starting to care. My wife says I'm starting to care way too much about the ones over there as well.
Yeah, and I know nowadays with the internet and everything, it's a bit easier to follow Rotherham, but it hasn't always been that easy to follow the scores from that.
No, I think I was telling you in the email that back when I was a kid, it'd be sort of the Australian Monday paper, and it'd be sort of in the back, in the little detail columns, and it'd be just all the leagues. It'd be Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, Division 4, and I think we're probably in Division 3 most of the time there, and you'd look at the line and maybe they'd include a table, maybe not, and that'd be about it. That's all you'd see. So that was pretty much it.
Brilliant. And have you managed to get over 20 games throughout the years of supporting us?
I've seen them 4 times live, twice at Millmore, once when I was a kid, and I don't really have, I was 10, 11, don't really have too many memories of that. I only remember my granddad, he's no longer with us, at that time not coming because he said they were rubbish. The rest of the family went. In the late 90s, I went to a 2-2 draw with Rochdale at home, which I remember because I was an adult by then. And then was lucky enough to go to New York in 2012. It was a pre-season game against Donny. I think it was like the second or third game there. My cousin took us to that. And then probably the favourite experience was I managed to convince my wife that Rotherham's on the way to Italy for our honeymoon, which it is. And so we were at the Peterborough game, December 2019, when we smashed them 4-0. So that was that was a good start to the trip.
Okay, my game's good too, yeah. All worth it in the end.
That's it, yeah. So I remember, I can remember at least 3 of those games, and it's easy to remember when you've been to hardly any. I know Nick can't remember any games he goes to, but that's he's been to thousands, so that's probably fair enough.
I can't remember what I had for my breakfast this morning, Dave, and that's only half an hour ago.
Yeah, we should let him know the background noise was not people screaming like Mick's basement or something. He's at a Bend NFL game. So cheers for that, Michael.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Why would I don't really like your reference there about people screaming in my basement either. I'm not so sure I like that.
Well, there I had to take it. Apologies.
Yeah. Knock it in, mate. Why don't you?
For the games now, Dave, do you watch them? Do you get up at? Obviously, the time difference is quite big. Are you one that gets up and watches them, or do you wait until you get up and watch them then?
So the last couple of seasons, because the games have been important, and it's so I don't watch them often because it's not on here all that often. I think this season I've seen pretty much if they're on Sky Sports, we'll get it over here. Yeah. So that's been good this year because we've been pretty good. So I got to see the Wednesday game live, and obviously the Papa John's Trophy, and then the Gillingham game was great because it was actually on at a decent time for me. It was like 9:30 at night start kickoff, which I know you guys probably didn't appreciate the early kickoff, but it was great for me. Yeah. And so it was only 11:15 when I was screaming when Georgie Kelly scored. So it certainly beats most of the season. Certainly in the middle of your winter, it's the 3 o'clock games are on 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Our time. So I'm not often getting up for that, but if I am awake in the middle of the night, the first thing I'm doing is on the phone checking what's going on, and I've been dragged into too many tents, sort of just checking the phone. It's really sad. 15 minutes of refresh. But yeah, so I'm personally hoping that next season that I'm not feeling the need to get up at 2 a.m. because we're going to be sort of safely mid-table and not playing as many games of as importance as we have the last 10 seasons.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Danny, what we'd take for just a chilled out 13th place finish.
I know, right? But I have to admit, Dave, there's been some absolute crackers on Sky Sports this season for you. I think the 5 that have been on have been 5 of our most exciting games, especially the Papa John's Trophy final. We've got a flair for the dramatic, don't we? Yeah,
that was quite late. And I think, that was midnight till 2 a.m. and I was in bed watching, and sort of, after 2, wife sort of was half awake. It's like, is this still on? It's like, yeah, it's gone extra time. She was like shaking her head. Can't believe it. So it was Sunday night, so I had to work, first thing Monday morning. So anyway, a bit tired at work that day.
Brilliant. Again, because you don't want to be going to many games, I don't know if you'll be able to answer. Do you have any sort of favourite players of current years, previous years, or is that again difficult to say when you don't watch that, when you can't watch that much?
No, so I when I was over in 2019, I asked my cousin, who was the player to look out for, who his favourite player was, and he said straight away Ben Wiles, and I don't think he'd done like a hell of a lot then. And told me the story, and obviously I think it's a great story. A Rotherham kid, and grew up through the academy, and scoring at Wembley and all those sorts of things. So I was at work. I'm a teacher, and one of the kids came up to me a couple of weeks ago. He knows I'm into all sorts of sport, and he was telling me about Lewandowski that's going to Barcelona, and he was really excited. Or no, I think he wasn't excited. I think he was happy with it. And he sort of asked, who's your favourite player? And I sort of, a couple of seconds went, I think Ben Wiles. And he sort of looked at me and was like, who's that? And I was like, I'm not going to explain, but no, you don't. You see a lot of Barcelona tops in the schoolyard, but you don't tend to see too many Rotherham unless I'm wearing one.
Yeah. That's nice to know somebody spreading the word of Rotherham and Ben Wiles, though. I like that. Brilliant. Mick, have you got anything you want to ask Dave before we let him enjoy the nice Australian evening?
Not really, no. I'm kind of envious because of where you live, but also I guess it can't be easy. It can't be easy following a team from so far away and not really being able to get that sort of physical connection, by getting to the games and everything else. So it's something that we've never experienced, is it? Any of the three of us, really, supporting a team from distance. So it's absolute kudos to you, mate, for the effort that you're putting in as well to watch the games at that time in the morning. It's madness, absolute madness. I love it, absolutely love it. It's something that you would never expect for a team of Rotherham's size. You expect it for your Liverpools and your Barcelonas and so on, but fantastic. We've got people like you all over the world. It's marvellous.
Thanks, Mick. I mean, I see. It's funny, certainly in terms of lifestyle and weather and pretty much anything else, you've got every right to be envious. But really insane, stupid way, I'm envious as well, because certainly that experience in 2019, you just rock out the house, half an hour, or out to the pub, a couple of drinks at the pub, and then a world class stadium. Watch your local team, and you're home for dinner at 6 o'clock. It would be a fun thing to do, every second Saturday if you're over there, but it's all right. So I'll take the nice weather and being able to be outdoors most of the year, I suppose.
I bet you will.
Brilliant.
I think one of Rotherham's former great players has got that mentality as well, Mr. Adam Lefondre.
Yeah, playing for Sydney FC at the moment. And, still scoring regularly. So, I heard
that's great to hear.
when he was on and stuff. So, obviously a very familiar name, and obviously out here as well. So,
Brilliant. Thank you, Dave, for reaching out for the email, first of all. We appreciate that. And thanks for coming on and doing this. We love meeting Dan from different stories that they have. And yours is a really interesting, cool story as well. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries, man. Thank you guys for doing this, because as I said in the email, 10,000 miles away, this is the sort of stuff that keeps me kind of connected and gets me sort of understanding what's going on, because as you can imagine, there isn't a lot of coverage of Rotherham United in Canberra and any of the local press or anything like that. So basically through you guys and Paul Davis and the Rotherham Advertiser, that's pretty much how I get my fix. So.
Oh, I'm really sorry, mate. I'm really sorry. There could be something more professional.
Well, no, you and me, Nick, are pretty similar, because in my AFL supporting days, I've been known to not be too kind on the officials. So I share a bit of a go on a couple of rants myself on occasion. So.
Well, it's interesting because as we were leaving Gillingham, we bumped into Howard Webb. I thought you were going to punish me, to be honest, but thankfully you didn't.
You now, so maybe if he was still refereed,
yeah, possibly. Yeah.
There we go. That's Dave from Down Under. Thank you very much, Dave, for joining for that. Mick, do you want to apologise for your sound quality on that one? Because that was terrible. You are on mute. I suppose that's a different kind of sound quality issue.
Professional as ever. Hey, horrible, isn't it? That it sounded great to me at the time, I'll be honest. So stuff you, I'm not bothered.
Yeah, I like it. As John Beaver puts it very nicely. Nice one, Dave. Good to have you aboard the family. Next time you're over gear, give us all a shout and we will look after you. Yes. I should have said that to him when we were speaking, to be honest, man. I didn't. But Dave, if you're listening, if you ever find yourself back over this neck of the woods, give us all a shout. We'll have a good day, I promise. Danny, now this is not technically breaking news, but it is something you can talk about, which is chucking, it's just fresh out of the rumour mill, isn't it? Fresh squeezed.
Well, it's freshly I'm able to talk about it, squeezed, because I've known about this one since, well, actually before the end of the season. Now, one of my good friends at Kimmy Park, he knows one of the guys who works at Brentford, and he sent him a message, and he's passed it on to me, that apparently, and I say that very, very asterixy, that apparently we are interested in Marcus Fors, the centre forward from Brentford, who was on loan at Hull City for the back end of last season. Now, we are now testing the water of do people watch this podcast and generate the rumours from there? Because if we see it pop up tomorrow, someone's definitely took it from us. But yeah, that's what I've heard, and that might be why we're more quiet on the Cole Stockton front, because we might be pursuing Marcus Fours. But that's what I've heard, and now I'm able to tell you guys about it. So there you go. It's now out in the open. The cat's out the bag, as it were.
Yeah, so I haven't done one of the fancy screenshots like we did for the other day because I was completely prepared for this. But I could throw you some stats out there for Marcus Fours. His loan at Hull has been less than successful, is all I would say. From a goal scoring point, that is the thing with strikers, isn't it? We judge them on the goals. And he's only got 1 goal in 11 games for Hull, which doesn't really fit in with the, oh my God, that'd be amazing signing Lewis. But from what I remember when we played him in lockdown, I remember Marcus Foss coming on as a sub and caused us quite a lot of problems. From memory, it would be a very good signing, not just from a goal point of view.
Yeah, I've seen good bits of him, and I think did he score 4 for Brentford in Cup earlier this year? I think he was against Oldham.
He did against Oldham, yes, good shout.
Yeah, I think he might have got in the team of the tournament or something just for that game. I know it's against Oldham, so you can't really judge a lot on that. But yeah, I've seen bits of him, and he looks a good age. He's 22. Yeah, so that should be a good sign if we can get that one off.
Yeah, it should be. 11. For Hull, the breakdown: 11 appearances this season, 1 goal, 1 assist. He has played 7 times in the Premier League this season, mostly on substitute appearances, and has an assist in there as well. Mick, anything to add on this one? Like I said, the only thing I can remember is the game he played against us briefly, and it caused us problems. What I remember.
Yeah, I remember. I do actually genuinely remember that as well.
You?
Yeah, I know. He fits the bill, doesn't he? Ticks the boxes. You know, coming from a club like Brentford, he's got Championship experience and a little bit of Premiership experience, but nothing of any note, obviously, but certainly Championship experience. It comes from a proper club who deal with their players very similarly to the way that we deal with ours under this regime. And also obviously there's that connection with Scotty and Brentford as well. So it kind of ticks all the boxes in terms of a rumour. It's got some substance to it, because of the connection between the clubs as well. So yeah, I like the sound of it. I like the sound of that. We'll have to wait and see. As Danny said, I think, or Lewis, I can't remember which one of you said it. It does depend greatly on what happens with Michael Smith. We'll have to wait and see on that. I'm not massively concerned one way or the other, I'll be honest. The more I think about it, the kind of less I'm concerned one way or the other. Yeah, it'd be great if he stayed, but I think we can replace him.
Okay. Controversial,
maybe, but
fairly controversial. Maybe the reason we remember him against Brentford is he scored against us. I know you're saying it. That might be why I remember him. But yeah, he's got 11 goals in their promotion-winning season last season. So that's not bad. A Finnish international, which would be good as well. Nice to have another international on the books. Ben, anything to add on that
one? Not really.
That was a long no.
No, I'm joking. Obviously, yeah, it'd be nice to have another goal scorer. But the thing is, right, if we sign Greg, and I don't know what, he's a striker, this kid, isn't he? What's his name? Striker.
He's a striker, but he can also play attacking right or left as well.
Is he a big lad, or is he
not massive? Well, it says 1.2 meters. Well, I don't know what that is.
No, that's not. That's
I think it's about 6 foot-ish.
Yeah.
So not massive. But...
No. Thing is, next year, if we do sign Greg, or even if we don't, Coyote is going to be the main guy, the main output if we sign this kid, because he's not someone you can go along to. I don't think. Doesn't sound like it. That output which Smith has been. So you'd be relying on Coyote to kind of bring everyone together and bring it, join attack and hold it up for everyone, which I don't think he's ready for. So it would be a good signing, but I don't think it would be a replacement for Smith. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's possibly true. Although it wouldn't be cheap. From a Rotherham United budget point of view, I don't think it'd be 200 grand.
No,
So-
not at all.
You'd be talking.
that's not it.
It'd be, if he came, it'd be a club record signing. Whatever the price, it would be a club record fee. But it's exciting. Mick, do you want a quick gloat about attendances, or are we above that? We're not above it, are we? I think I've thought of this. I've got a plan, right? So we're going to need some help from our listeners, right? What we're going to do is we're going to be really gloaty in a second, right? And I want you all to clip it and put it out on social media and see how many bites we get. So between us all, we know we're just winding them up, but they won't get this bit. They won't listen to this bit, will they? Come on, yeah. It's a team effort. This one. Go on.
I can hear the whole comment section maniacally laughing at this now.
You've teed me up here, so I've got some prep done for this, and I am.
I assumed you would.
No, but I mean, anybody that's interested in stats, you know, when you look at stats, you've got to give them context, haven't you? Yeah. So it's all right saying that X club has 30,000 supporters every week and Y club has 10,000 supporters every week or whatever. That doesn't really tell the whole story, does it? You know, it doesn't tell the story about history. It doesn't tell the story about size of stadium, size of town, size of this, size of the other. You know what I mean? And it also doesn't tell the story of how many points you get in a season and where you finish in league, does it? Unfortunately, it would appear. But another thing that's obviously triggered people over the last couple of days, which has been, I have to say, cheered me up no end. You know, it's been hilarious. Paul Davies put out the league table, which I think has been done by a Wigan supporter, of percentage of home crowd attending away games.
I have got the figures in front of me if you want to hear them.
Well, I know. Listen, mate. The only important figure, because the point I'm trying to make here, I will make here, is that this gives context to it. You know, this talks about actual, real supporters. This gives you the indication of genuine supporters, a club that has not the hangers-on, not the glory boys, you know, that come to home games when they're playing a big team. These are your heart and soul of your club, and we finished top of that league. I'm sorry, but that just seems to be how it is. And I believe that Wigan also finished second in that league list. So, you know, you can have what you want. You can have a big stadium, whether it's brand spanking new or falling apart, but, you know, you need some genuine support. And not, you know, I mean, I can't remember the last time I went to a Rotherham game at night and anybody put the torch on the phone. Didn't happen.
No, that is a good point.
You know what I mean? I've seen it at a few concerts on telly and what have you. In fact, I might have seen it on X Factor. I'm sure it must have been on there as well. But if that's your level, that's your level, isn't it?
Nobody see the video of the song they put over it as well.
I've seen two. I've seen an Ed Sheeran one and an Adele one over it.
The Adele one's perfect.
The Adele one, beautiful.
But yes, this table that we're all on about clipping, basically the big boys, you know, the Premier League game in all but name, as Sky Sports dubbed it. Well, if we look at Sunderland, their average home attendance was 31,426, but their average away attendance was 2,343. So that's only 7.5% of their average home fan base travelling away. Sheff Wednesday, they fared a bit better, you know. Home attendance averaged 22,908, good effort. Away average 2,464, so that's only 10.8% average, right? But the mighty Rotherham United, not the massive, the mighty Rotherham United on top of the list with an average home attendance of 9,337 and an average away attendance of 1,258. So that's 13.5% of our average home attendance that we take away from home with us. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we went up and the big boys are still fighting it out. Well, one of them is.
Right. And everybody, just clip it. Just share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter. Just share it. It'll be brilliant. It'll fill week. It'll be glorious.
Yeah, what you need to do is share it with a hashtag obsessed as well.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Oh, I enjoyed that. Right. Let's move on to the serious business. Our pre-season predictions. We have 5 categories. We have the finished position, top scorer, the most assists, player of the season, and breakout players. We will score each round, so whoever gets the closest or the most accurate will then get a point, and then whoever wins at the end will win at the end. There's literally nothing I can give out for that, I'm afraid. So, finish position. Let's go with... So we've all got each other's as well. We haven't got our own. Ben, let's start with you. Who do you have?
I've got Danny.
Oh, no.
Okay. So what did
So
Danny
the
say
finish
was the
position.
finish position? But if anybody doesn't know, we finished second.
6.
Danny said 6th.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go next. I have Ben's. Ben, you said 4th.
Okay.
That's not bad, to be fair.
I'll
Mick,
take
who would
that.
you get?
I've got Lewis's, and Lewis said 5th.
No. Danny?
I've got Mick, and Mick said 1st.
He said 1st. That's annoying.
That's very annoying.
Lewis,
Right.
He
Until
said
the
that.
end.
He said that knowing we won't get first. He just said that to
Oh,
prove
no.
a point.
he did last year with Wales, didn't he?
Listen, you can take Nicky out of me all you want. I genuinely thought that we would win the title this season, hand on heart, and I was so close.
And barring
did,
an
Lewis-
Equay own goal, we would have done.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lewis, you must have me then, is that right?
Yeah, best till last, Matt. You've got 8th.
Wow.
Yeah, that's annoying.
So I think
that was
you
because
won that round.
we didn't win that one. No, we did it before the signings, before Rathbone and everybody else came in. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So unfortunately, Mick wins that round. That's a
Come on.
devastating shame. Well done, Mick.
Thank you.
Next round is top scorer. Mick, who did you? I can't remember who you had again. Just tell me who you had. Who this is.
Lewis predicted that it would be one Freddie Ladapo.
Okay, Fred. To be fair, second top scorer. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
About context, yeah.
yeah. Danny.
Mick predicted Michael Smith as top scorer.
That's also annoying. Lewis, so did I pick?
You went for Freddie.
Oh dear. Ben.
Danny went Freddie as well.
Yeah. Ben, I've got both predictions. You went Freddie. Danny.
Oh, God.
Well, is this for assists?
No goals. Or I've already been to you.
I've already said
No,
goals.
it
Mick
said
said Smith.
Mick, have I not been to you then?
Yeah, you've done everybody. Lewis said Freddie as well.
Okay. So everybody said Freddie except Mick.
Yeah.
Glorious.
You can see.
I mean, I think without the
smugness in
drama
his
in
face.
January, he might have done. But anyway,
But he didn't know, Danny, did he?
no, he didn't. That's the thing.
S64 Miller says she'd like to donate a free sketch for the overall winner. And yeah,
Shout.
that'd be lovely. Thank you very much. Mick's winning the first 2 rounds though, unfortunately. Next line is most assists, and I think I'll double check this now, won't I? I think this was Barlaser, weren't it? With 10, I think. While we're doing it, I will double check it anyway. So let's start with you, Mick. Who did you have, and who did they pick?
Lewis picked for the most assists Chio Benny.
Chio. Okay.
Good call.
Yeah, it's not bad. Benjamin.
I'll take it.
Danny picked Chio as well.
Chio. Okay. Ben, I've got yours, and you picked Mikel Miller.
Wow.
At one point, though, he weren't far off, were he? I don't know if we remember.
I think he was second at one bit.
Yeah, he were. He had loads more than
got
Chio at
injured.
one point, didn't he?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's not a tail rush out then. Lewis, who did I have?
You went Wiles.
I don't think that's right. I'll confirm that in a second. And Danny, who's you got?
I've got Mick, and annoyingly, he said Dan Barlaser.
Oh, God.
My word.
Oh my
This is
god.
ridiculous.
Should we just stop now?
So,
Yeah.
Just stop the count now.
according to Transfer Market, it is not Dan Barlaser.
No, that's wrong.
According to Transfer Market, it's Chio Benny.
Oh,
With
yes.
10.
Get it.
Oh, wow. So, Mick and Ben, who did you have? Did
Danny
you have Lewis
picked
and Danny?
you. Yeah, Danny picked you.
And so did Lewis, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Get in.
That is a shock.
What a round! Get in!
Brilliant. Oh. And this fight, the second to penultimate round is player of the season. Now, this is obviously much more subjective, depending on who we picked, with who had the best season, essentially. So let's flip the page so we can get it. So, Mick, you had Lewis, didn't you?
Yeah. Lewis didn't get player of the season. I don't think Lewis managed an appearance all season, but he did pick Gambala. So
good shout.
Yeah.
Ben and everybody else had. Danny, Ben, who did Danny pick?
Victor.
Victor. Okay. Ben, I have yours, and you went Richard Wood.
Are you sure?
Yeah, and I do remember this, and do you know why I remembered this? You wanted to pick Richard Wood as the breakout player, and I had to talk you out of it.
Yeah,
because he can't be a breakout player.
I don't remember this.
I remember.
I do not remember.
The good thing is, Ben, these are recorded. So if you want to go back, you can have a listen.
Oh, I've had a howler.
I mean, it had a good season.
Yeah, but yeah.
Lewis, you've got mine. Who did I pick?
You went Victor as well.
Victor as well. Okay. Danny, who did Mick pick?
Mick picked Victor as well.
So three of us picked Victor. Did we think we were going to struggle? Keyboard was going to have to be so busy. Although, to be fair, if Victor or Vickers had played all season together, one of them may have been up for it with the defensive record. Yeah. So now it becomes a subjective view. Out of Dan Barlaser, Victor, and Richard Wood, who do we all think had the best season?
Barlaser,
Richard Wood.
Out of Barlaser, innit?
That's it.
Not to be biased or anything, but I think.
Okay, so going into the final round, we have a tie. Mick is with first two, Lewis jointly second round, and Lewis has the fourth round on his own as well. So now we have the breakout player. So the idea behind this one, Ben, is to pick a youngish player.
Wait, can I just intervene slightly? Ben, are you drinking mustard?
No, it's not mustard. No, it's a smoothie. It's not mustard.
It looks like mustard.
Is the mustard in your smoothie?
No, there's not mustard.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Fair enough.
So, Mick, who did Lewis pick as the breakout player?
Lewis picked JJ.
A good prediction. It's not going to win you the game, unfortunately. I don't think Lewis. Depends what everybody else said. Yeah. Ben, who did Danny have?
Wiles.
Ooh, good shout. Ben, I've got yours. You picked Ben Wiles. Great shout. Lewis, who did I pick?
You picked Mikael Miller.
See, if he'd have stayed fit, I could have had that.
Yeah.
Because he were brilliant at times.
Yeah.
And Danny, who did Mick pick?
Mick picked Mikael Miller as well.
Oh, well. Unfortunately for you there, Mick, Mikael Miller's just cost you the outright game. Because you can't have Mikael Miller, I'm afraid.
Nice.
I would say, out of those, it's got to be Ben Wiles, hasn't it? Danny and Ben both picked Ben Wiles.
Yeah.
Which, annoyingly, means it's a draw.
Wow, we actually know football between us.
I sit here. We have a draw between Mick, Danny, and Lewis. You all three of you got 2 rounds each.
I'll take that.
That's annoying. I sit here with the only one getting none of those categories right. Classic.
So what you're telling me is that the two guys who were journalists and the guy who was supported over United the longest out of everybody got the most right, and the host got the least right.
When you put it that way, you should have all got it. That's how it should have happened. You two have got all qualified professionals. Mick's been watching us since formed. You should know more than me. No?
Yeah, valid point, but yeah. I've stuck in with Lake equaliser like Aussie 2-2 though, haven't I?
Yeah, I do. I loved it. Ben, well done for getting the one. Ben Wiles, To be fair, I should get an assist on that one because last night I had to talk about picking Richard Wood, so I had an assist on that one.
Yeah, well, you can get. That's the only point you're going to get in it. So yeah, you can go through with that.
Yeah, I'm shocked that Chio was the top assist on that one. Is
that included Ireland assists though?
No, it just say that's just Rotherham United.
No, right. Well, my numbers are.
What it does mean is that assist on the last day of the season won you the points on that one, didn't it? It was just for George Achilles' goal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant. I'm just about out of things. Is there anything else we need to touch on? We have got a few minutes spare for any other random topics. I think we've got covered all the Rotherham United stuff. Mick, I know you've got any rants you want to get out of your system? Do you want to have a Eurovision rant just for giggles?
Yeah, it's been chilled. I've been able to watch playoff games, watch some stupid refereeing decisions, and not get annoyed about it. I'm thinking particularly the Luton game. The referee there got 3 decisions to make. The penalty for Huddersfield there in the 9th second, which he decided not to give. The penalty for Luton just before half time, which he decided not to give. Whatever it is he did with his hair before he came out, which he decided not to do. Yeah, it's been great. It's been wonderful, hasn't it? Just watching other teams suffer and other fans suffer. It's been so relaxing. I can't tell you. What I would say is, from a footballing point of view, I spent yesterday watching like kind of wall-to-wall football. So I watched the United Forest game, which was a bit of a disappointment, to be honest, but nowhere near the disappointment I had with the FA Cup final, which was probably 2 hours of my life that I will never, ever, ever get back. And I wish to God that I hadn't wasted that time, because that was awful football. But then, it was one of those, isn't it? You wake up on a Saturday morning and say, right, you've got 2 matches you can watch today. You can watch Liverpool versus Chelsea, or you can watch Mansfield versus Northampton. Which would you prefer? Well, let me tell you, Mansfield versus Northampton was 1,000,000 times better. And that's not an exaggeration. It was 1,000,000 times better than that dross that those 2 clubs served us up yesterday afternoon in the name of the FA Cup. What a joke.
Yeah, but in the FA Cup, you got to see Chelsea throw a flare in the pitch and then their team still lose during the penalty shootout. That was amazing.
Yeah, and listen, under normal circumstances, I would agree with you, but that meant Liverpool won. So,
True.
That can't be allowed to happen.
True. Paul Brock wants to know our views on the Championship, who will get to the final. So as we stand, it was 1-1 Luton Huddersfield, 2-1 to Forest, although Forest should have been well out of sight. Lewis, who are your 2?
I'll say Sheffield. I think that they've got to play better than they did the other night. I think Forest might rue not scoring 5 or 6 as they could have done quite easily. And then Luton and Huddersfield was a flipper of a coin, isn't it, really? Yeah. So Huddersfield, why not?
Yeah. We have a late objection to the assists when according to Football Barlas and Weil sit level on most assists. If you want to go on to BBC, he is right. Barlas and Weil sit level on assists, but that's in the league. We go all competitions.
Do we indeed?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we're not like Richie Barker. We go all competitions.
Exactly. Yeah.
In that case, I'm going to ring Kev Johnson and ask him to do me to do me some sort of appeal to get me a victory.
I don't think you've done enough, to be honest with you.
No, I don't.
You can't sit here rant once a week and get something for it.
No, I don't think so either.
He's got a flag for it.
It's true. Yeah. Essex Formula says all 3 winners have a picture of your player of your choice.
Yes, get him.
Very, very kind. Predictions for the playoffs. Sorry, Lewis, I was looking at the comments. You said Forest and
Huddersfield.
So, yeah, cool. Danny?
I think Forest and Huddersfield as well. Forest were far too strong against Sheffield United, but just didn't take the chances. I think Huddersfield will probably just edge out Luton now they're at home. But I'm going to be controversial and say I think Nottingham Forest will go up.
The thing is, with Forest and United, in theory, whichever of those two get stood at final, you'd fancy them because they've got man-for-man better players. But they're both bottlers. They're both massive bottlers. And that's what you've got to take into account. Look at Sheffield United's playoff history. It's obviously horrendous. Forest, I don't think, is much better. Whereas Luton,
I think we're like the only South Yorkshire team that's actually got a decent playoff record. I
think Donny have won one at least. They beat Leeds at Wembley, didn't they? In 20-something. So
they haven't won two.
I don't know what else they've done. They haven't won, no. Exactly. Yeah. Ben, anything to pop in the championship chat?
I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go Luton Forest in final. I'm gonna say Luton. I'm gonna go up.
Yeah, I like that. I would love to see Kenilworth Road in Premier League. Wouldn't it just be the best thing ever?
Away fans going through someone's back garden to get into the stand,
like a Millmore in Premier League. It'd just be the best thing ever.
I'm going to agree with Ben on that one because you, Matthew, of all people, should appreciate the fact that if Luton manage to get through the playoffs and get into the Premier League, then Football in Symmetry says that Rotherham United will do the same.
Because Bournemouth did it.
Luton have done it. But there are only one club left.
We don't make predictions for next year, then, don't we?
Can I just say that whenever we were talking about winning the league throughout the season, it was always Mick saying, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
It is.
And now he's just come out with that.
Hey, listen, Danny, at the beginning of this season just gone, I said we'd win league. We were well on target for that. I think one of you...
Before that, you said we'd finished sixth and we got relegated.
We weren't on course for that.
I accept that. That might have been a bit of a... that was just a sighter. But I like David Beckham's first free kick. You know, his first free kick at game, it was just a sighter. Watch me from here on in.
No. When Ben did the opposite, Ben got his first free kick last season right and has failed every week since then. That's how it works. So keep an eye out on our socials for everything. S64 Miller says to you three, Danny, Mick, and Lewis, get in touch with her and through Facebook, Twitter, and she'll sort you something out. We will be back on Thursday with another live episode like this because we want to go talk about the retain list, assuming it's out by then. And then in the following weeks, there will be some episodes coming out from former players. So for this week, we are speaking to Andy Roscoe and Liam Richardson and maybe one other. But these will be out in the weeks that follow as things get quieter to make sure there is still some fantastic Millers stuff out there for you. Last shout, anything else anyone needs to talk about? Or are we good to go?
I think it's time.
Right. Thank you all for listening and watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe to YouTube. We'll keep up to 600. Please follow us on Twitter. We're coming up to 1,000 followers on Twitter if you can. That'd be if you aren't already, do follow us on there. Just same with Facebook and everywhere else. I think we'll finish by saying congratulations to Stockport County making it back to the Football League. Our friends at the podcast from Scarf Pagero, we spoke to them on the season. I am genuinely very happy that they're back in the Football League, a proper football club with a proper fan base and everything else that follows with them. I'm so happy for them. So congratulations. And Millers fans, we will see you back here on Thursday. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Freddie's on one-on-one. Freddie Kenny shoot container shot. Unbelievable! Apologies to the neighbours.